What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday morning. And yes, I'm taping the day of edition of the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt as we come to you from New England, where I apologize for the lateness of the podcast. So what happened last night was after I taped, I then went and started to poke around, and I realized that the odds for the bets I had made had completely changed. For instance, on the podcast I had taped that will never be seen, had the Astros over 93.5 wins. The Astros have the easiest remaining schedule for anybody in Major League Baseball from here on out. I was interested in making that play until I realized that every single book had moved it to 94.5 wins after last night. And I went, well, I'm giving out a number that doesn't exist. And I don't like doing that. I don't like giving out prop bets that don't exist. That was just one example. There were others that, multiple bets moved. Multiple plays were not available from the time I taped in the morning, which was early at like 7:30 in the morning Pacific time, to when the time I got where I was going here in New England, where I was going to tape it or I was going to post the thing I had taped. So it frustrated the holy heck out of me. I was like, look, this is not right. It's not fair. It's not what I do. So I want to give you guys things that can be actionable, things that you actually can play, things you actually can bet. So that's why the podcast is coming out here. Now I'll tape one tonight for Friday morning. So I'll do two tapings essentially today, but this is for Thursday, July the 3rd, in case you were watching this and going like, what day is Matt talking about? This is Thursday, July 3rd. I've got two player props that are currently on the BettingPros app. Now there was a problem, and this has been now corrected. The official correct URL, I was telling you guys a wrong URL. The correct URL is Matt, bettingpros.com/Matt. So I thought it was Sports Talk Matt. It's not. It's just Matt. So bettingpros.com/Matt. That will take you to the desktop version of my account or my page where you'll see the two plays. Or you can go to the app, and on the app, you will search Sports Talk Matt. Okay? So that's where Sports Talk Matt comes in. So there are two player props. We went 0-2 yesterday. We had 1-1 on our place. Blue Jays got us there with some plus money, so we made some money there. So we lost yesterday, but it was like down 0.7. So this has just been like the paper cut week of paper cut weeks. Like it's just little tiny. We have one really big winning day, and we're going to be up for the week. Like this is not hard to overcome. It's just one of those periods of time of being ice cold. And if you want to fade these plays, again, I don't get angry. I don't get upset about it. I think it's not a horrible idea given where I've been with baseball at the moment, and we'll get to the weekend. And, unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of things to bet on at the moment because it's over the 4th of July holiday. And so we're kind of searching and looking around. So before we do anything for the picks today, I've got one Major League Baseball play. As I've said, there are two player props on the app, Betting Pros app. Go and download that, more of that here in a second. And I'll give you two Major League Baseball futures because I had talked about futures being the play for today. So I'll give you two Major League Baseball futures here in just 1 second. But let's talk a little bit first about our friends at Novig. Okay, this is an offer that currently is available right now for you guys from Novig. This is the peer-to-peer betting platform that's legal in most states. You can get better lines at times. You can set your own lines as well. There are no commissions and no hidden fees with Novig. To use it, they use a coin deposit system. It is real money that you are using, and when you use the code DailyJuice, you get 50% off your first coin purchase, that up to $25. You can check it out right now at bettingpros.com/juice. That's bettingpros.com/juice. And again, if you want to jump in with the Betting Pros Premium to check it out, what we got going on for the prop bet cheat sheet and the prop bet analyzer, this is a great time to do it because maybe I'm just picking the wrong plays and you can pick better plays than me. Go to Betting Pros. Go to the App Store and download the Betting Pros app and use the code JUICE to get a 7-day free trial with Betting Pros Premium. 7 days for free. Betting Pros Premium. Check it out for free right now over the 4th of July holiday. Not a bad time to go ahead and go and do it. All right, let's start talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, okay? So the Rays currently, if you look at where they are in the standings, if the playoffs began today, the Tampa Bay Rays would be in the playoffs. They're 48-39. They are one game behind the Yankees, which amazingly enough, the Yankees have fallen out of first place. That the Blue Jays are currently in first place at 48-38. More on them here in just 1 second. Given the Yankees losing 3 games in a row, and they're potentially going to get swept over a 4-game series at Toronto. The bats are red hot for the Blue Jays. They now have a positive run differential. They're over plus 6 on that. The Yankees are still at plus 103, but they haven't been hitting recently, like we all know. And again, last night they scored 9 runs and lost because their bullpen, when their starting pitching was so bad. But Tampa is 48-39. The thing that worries me for Tampa is that they are 28-25 at home. Major League Baseball front-loaded their schedule for them when it comes to games in Tampa because of the weather. Because 1, they're playing at George Steinbrenner Field, and 2, because of how they are performing, or how the weather's going to perform in July, August, and September. Really, it's about July and August. Rain every single day, torrential downpours, stifling humidity, 100-plus degree temperatures. It's brutal to play outside at George Steinbrenner Field for the Tampa Bay Rays, but they're 48-39. That's pretty good. The problem is their schedule is insane for the rest of the way, and I don't know if they can continue playing how well they have been playing and how hitting as well as they're hitting. They start tomorrow. They start a road trip in which they will go to Minnesota for 3, Detroit for 3, in Boston for 4. Then that's just a 10-game road trip right to the All-Star break. Then in the second half of the season, get this road trip. They come back to play Baltimore and Chicago at home. They should do pretty well there. Then they play Cincinnati and the Yankees on the road. They come back for the Dodgers. They play 3 against this stretch from July 25th, Cincinnati, playoff contender. Yankees, playoff contender. Dodgers at home, playoff contender. Then they go on the road from August the 4th all the way to August the 17th, where they play the Angels, playoff contender, Seattle, playoff contender, at the A's, which is a road trip, and then at San Francisco, playoff contender. That's a 3-game set in the Angels, 3-game set against the Mariners, 3-game set against the A's, and a 3-game set against the Giants, only to turn around to play the Yankees and Cardinals at home. Then they play at Cleveland. They get a reprieve at Washington, and then they play Seattle at home, Cleveland at home. They get a reprieve with the White Sox, but then they go to the Cubs to play the Cubs for 3 games. They come back for Toronto, Boston at home, and Baltimore and Toronto on the road, and we know the Blue Jays are going to be contenders all the way to the end. I know they've pitched well. I know they've hit well. But at some point, I think it all catches up to the Tampa Bay Rays. And given the number of American League teams that are going to be battling for a playoff spot at the moment, we're talking about, all the way down to the Royals are 40-47, and they're still in it. They're only 5.5 games out of a playoff spot. So right now it's Yankees, Rays, and Mariners. But the Rangers, Angels, Red Sox, Twins, Guardians, they're all right there. I think it's a decent play. I like Tampa. I don't like their schedule. Their 48-39 start before they hit this part of the schedule, I think they need to be in first place. They need to pad the win total more. I'll take a shot on them missing the playoffs. It's big plus money. Take it. Plus 186 on the Tampa Bay Rays to miss the playoffs. Make the playoffs, it's a no on to make the playoffs. At plus 186, I'll take a shot at it. I don't think Tampa Bay is going to make the postseason this year, and I think just because of what we've seen from an overall scheduling standpoint, I think it's going to be brutal. I don't know if we're really putting this into full accounts as to whether or not Tampa is going to be able to do this or not. FanDuel has this to make the playoffs. No, at plus 186. Jump on this. Plus 186. No, Tampa Bay to miss the playoffs. Second bet. And let's look at the National League. So the Cubs are playing really well. And this is another number that moved on me. I got this at $7, okay, at plus 700 for the Cubs to win the National League pennant. Now, do I think they're going to win the pennant? No, I don't. However, I just need them to make the National League Championship Series. Don't need them to make the pennant, to win the pennant. Just get to the Championship Series and have us be able to hedge off of it. The Cubs at the moment lead the National League Central by 3 games over the Brewers. They're 51-35. They have a plus 108 run differential, which is unbelievable for this team. It is number 1 in Major League Baseball at the moment. They are 27-15 at Wrigley, and that number most likely just gets better. And they're 24-20 on the road, where that team away from Wrigley is raking as much as they are at Wrigley. PCA is tremendous for them, and they're going to get Steele back at some point. They're going to get healthier. They're going to have Imanaga and Steele most likely available for the stretch run here for this team into the postseason, which is a good 1-2. And I do expect the Cubs to be pretty active at the trade deadline, trying to acquire a frontline starter for a chance for them to go out there and try to win this thing. Again, they're not the best team in the National League. I don't need them to be the best team in the National League. They're behind the Phillies, but it was 7-1 yesterday. Now it's 6-1. So I got it 7-1. I'll still give it out because it's for a hedge perspective, but I hate that it moved. It was 7-1 yesterday, and then the Cubs win, and all of a sudden now we're dropping it down because I think people started to pay attention to this and go, well, wait a minute, why are the Cubs 7-1? Given the way that they're playing. If you want to wait, you can wait on this and say, okay, I'm going to see if they go back into a swoon and say they lose a couple of games, but they've won 2 games in a row, and I think that's why people are starting to pay attention to it. But Cubs, take the Cubs to win the National League because of where we are. As I put a flag down, I just think this number is going to drop as the National League goes. I mean, the Phillies at 51-36, you trust them? How about the Mets at 49-38? You trust them? Trust the Brewers at 48-38? Do you trust the Padres at 46-40? Giants at 46-41? Like, I know we don't know the bracket. So the hope is obviously the Dodgers and the Cubs aren't going to play each other early, and that's one thing that could burn us. But again, you can bet what you want with this. If you want to invest more than one unit, you can. I generally do when it comes to futures. But I think jumping on the Cubs here, at the 4th of July for them to win the National League at 6-1 is a good play. I took it at 7-1. I think 6-1 is a good play as well. Let's jump on the Cubs to win the NL pennant at plus 650. Sorry, so it's 650 on that. That's the price that's available right now. BetMGM's got it at plus 650 for 1 unit to jump in on that. So 2 futures, Rays to miss the playoffs at plus 186, and the National League to be won by the Cubs at plus 650. Both those plays for 1 unit. Okay, for today, what are we doing for today on Thursday, July the 3rd? I like to bet streaks. Chris Bassett for the Blue Jays is a dog at home. Why? Because the Yankees are due? Is that why? He's 5-0 with a 2.60 ERA, opposing batting average of 250, 15 earned runs in 52 innings worth of work. The team has lost his last 2 starts, and he was bad on the road against the Red Sox. Got rocked against Boston. 2 innings, 8 earned runs, 9 runs total. Bounce back spot for him. Again, at home against the White Sox, lost 4-2, but he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run, beat the Diamondbacks in the start before that at home. 3 innings in 3 runs in 6 innings for him on that, and that broke a streak of 4 consecutive games. And really dating back all the way to May the 1st. In the month of May, the team went 5-1 in games started by Chris Bassett. He's 3-2 here in the month of June. Now into July, Chris Bassett's first start. And he's going up against Clark Schmidt, who is a really good pitcher. Okay, I'm not gonna say he's a bad pitcher, but Clark Schmidt is 4-4 with a 3.09 ERA, and on the road he's got a 3.71 ERA. 3-2 on the road, and his last start on the road was good. 6 innings, 0 earned runs. So, I mean, you want to bet the under in this game? You can, but I'm not betting an under between the Blue Jays and the Yankees, not with these bullpens and not with 3-0 to the over, including 20 runs being scored yesterday. This does feel like the game that should go under, so I would lean towards the under. But if I'm leaning towards the under, I'm going to take the home team here, and I'm going to take the Blue Jays because I like betting streaks. If you're a Yankee fan, you want me to be on the Blue Jays, given where I've been, how streaky I have been. But I get plus 110 on the Blue Jays. This is just simply one of those like principal plays. Like I'm taking the Blue Jays to win today. They've won 3 games in a row. The Yankees are reeling. Good pitching matchup for the Blue Jays. They're at home. Home dog yesterday came in for us. Let's do it again. Home dog again for the Blue Jays at plus 110. These quote Yankee taxes, whatever you want to call it. Sure. Whatever it is. Give me the Blue Jays at plus money at home to win today up against the Yankees. Okay, so 2 Major League Baseball player props are on the BettingPros app. Go to the app, search at Sports Talk Matt, or go to the URL, bettingpros.com/Matt, M-A-T-T. That's where you can find the 2 player props here, but 0-2 yesterday. Hopefully we can bounce back, go 2-0 today, and make up for yesterday. Only one play today, which is the Blue Jays money line, and then Tampa Bay to miss the playoffs and the Cubs to win the NL are 2 futures for Major League Baseball. I apologize for the delay for the Daily Juice. I don't even know where I am. It's 9 a.m. Eastern time, so it's 6 a.m. on the West Coast for me. It would take me a day or 2 to kind of reconstitute, see where I am on all of this, but thank you for bearing with us here. Podcast back on schedule for later tonight into tomorrow morning. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.